All righty, what's up, guys? Wednesday, March the 3rd, 2021. Hope you're all doing well. We'll give everybody a second to file in here. I got a lot to talk about, a lot to get into. Phil, what's up, man? Got a lot to get into here on a Wednesday hump day. Hope you're all doing well. Like I said, whether you're at the office, on the commute, you're on lunch break, whatever it is. Hope you're all having, maybe you got the day off. I don't know. Hope you guys are all having a fantastic day. We got a lot to get into here on a Wednesday, talking Carolina basketball, baseball, everything in between, whatever you guys want to get into. Taking your questions, comments, calls, as always, 843-790-3377. That is 843-790-3377. Let's see. And again, the phone lines are open, guys, if you do want to call in. The phone lines are open. All right, cool. Yep, phone lines are open. Lindsay, what's up? Ryan Hobby. Elizabeth Ballard says, what up? Big win for the Yardcocks last night. Yep, 19 runs scored in that midweek win. You always love to see that for sure. HML, what's up, man? Jaden Harris. Again, boys putting up a show with the bats. 19 runs. Jacob Rogers said Yardcocks are on fire. Yeah, no, it feels good. It feels good to get that W again. We talked a little bit about it yesterday. Sorry, I'm just getting my ticket situation set up for Sunday, actually, for this series. We talked about it yesterday, and the big thing is this, that you don't need style points in baseball in the midweek. You really just want to win. That's all it really comes down to. You don't have to win by 10 runs or 12 runs or 15 runs. I mean, listen, if you win 5-4, you won the ball game. Who gives a damn? Because we all know there's a lot of moving pieces in the midweek. You throw different guys, you try out different lineups, and it's baseball. The parity's there. So for South Carolina to go out there and get that dominating win, I mean, again, 19-8, and they were up by like 15 or 16 runs at one point. You love to see the bats continue to stay hot. Obviously, Brady Allen with a big homer, Andrew Eister with a homer. Bunch of other guys doing things. It's funny. Wes Clark went 0 for 3, and he's only hitting 500 now. How awful that is. But heck, Wes Clark went 0 for 3, and he still scored 19 runs. If that tells you anything about this lineup, I mean, Joe Satterfield, the hometown product, if you will, grew up a Gamecock fan. He had 5 RBI for you, which was really, really cool to see. Maybe he's a guy that can help you and challenge for playing time. I know Jeff Heinrich obviously out with the ankle right now, but yeah. So AJ Bowers, what's up, man? Stacy, Yardcocks indeed. USC Sports, what's up? So again, guys, appreciate you all tuning in. 843-790-3377. Also, great podcast drop this morning, episode 393. Obviously, talking basketball, baseball, all that good stuff, guys. And hey, I mean, I know many of you are like, hey, we're ready to see it end. But I was going to say, savor these last few shows with basketball, because after next week, there will be no more basketball, obviously, and we'll be strictly focused on baseball, which, again, I know a lot of you will be very, very happy that's the case. It's been a tough season for sure. There's no other way to put it. But, guys, before we get going any further, I do want to tell you about my friends over at Flex Squad Fitness in Chapin, South Carolina, because the Daily Crow is presented to you by our friends over at Flex Squad Fitness in Chapin. And CJ Profit, guys. CJ, what a dude. What a legend. The man behind it all. He's been a certified personal trainer for 10 years, guys. And one of the reasons he's so good at what he does is because he's been there. He's done that. He has lost the weight himself. He's been through the mental grind. He struggled with his own weight for many years until he eventually lost 85 pounds himself doing the exact same type of training that he currently does at the gym. And guys at Flex Squad, they do one-on-one and small group training. Their program is a mix of strength, high-intensity interval training, and endurance training. And the goal is to not only help people look great on the outside, but more importantly, make them stronger and more confident on the inside. And again, guys, like I said, he knows the struggles you're going through. He's so good at what he does because he's been there. He's done that. He is going to put together a custom workout plan, custom nutrition plan, and is going to be there with you every single step of the way. Guys, the place changes people inside and out. You're not going to regret walking in the door. You're probably just going to wish you did it sooner, guys. And right now, they offer a free week for anyone who wants to try out their classes, or 2 free one-on-one sessions to see what they're all about. Or, guys, if you go there right now, tell them Chris from the Spurs Up Show sent you. You are going to get your first month free, guys. Again, if you're in the Columbia area, of course, Chapin, but around the state of South Carolina, and you're looking for a new personal trainer or a new gym to go to, or you're looking to start that fitness journey, Flex Squad Fitness in Chapin, South Carolina, my guy CJ Profit is the way to go. Again, that's Flex Squad Fitness in Chapin, South Carolina. Be sure to check them out and tell them Chris from the Spurs Up Show sent you, guys. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. 843-790-3377. That is 843-790-3377. Again, guys, I'm actually just working on my ticket situation for Sunday. I'll be at all 3 games this weekend. By the way, if you did not see a time change for Friday's game against Mercer, baseball now instead of first pitch at 7, first pitch will be at 4 o'clock, which I think is really, really smart because if you take a look at the weather, the high is like 56, which is fine, but the low is going to dip down to the 30s. And I obviously, I think they want to try to get the game in before it gets too cold at Founders Park. Again, I know Phil will probably call them soft or say whatever, but not all of us like to be chilling in the 35-degree weather. So I, for one, do appreciate it because I don't really want to be standing out at Founders Park when it's 30 degrees either. So first pitch now at 4 instead of 7 on Friday. Saturday, first pitch at 4 o'clock Saturday. And then Sunday, first pitch at noon. So let's see. Stacey Chrisley could cut down on BB. What do you mean? Baseball or basketball? What are you talking about? USC Sports, what's up? Your local sports talk. What happened against Arkansas? Arkansas is really, really good, and we just kind of did our normal thing, which is not play defense and not hit shots, and that's really not a good combination. Steven, yeah, the football spring game, April the 24th is when it is tentatively scheduled for. So, Todd Smith, thank God for baseball. Thank God for baseball indeed, my friend. And I'd ask you guys, that's the question I'm really posing on social media today, and I asked in the podcast, and I asked in social media, my clip for the podcast this morning, and I'd ask for you guys as well. Listen, we all know COVID early in the season really derailed this season before it ever even got started, but I'd ask you guys, because, I think we all agree outside of, once we got to the Florida game, and I said this when it happened, once we got to the Florida game and you upset the Gators and you did what you did in Gainesville, I basically made the statement that you can't blame COVID anymore. COVID cannot be used as the number one excuse because you've shown what you're capable of. You've gotten over the worst of COVID and, the rest is history. But I'd ask you guys, outside of COVID, what is the number one thing you pin this season's struggles on? Is it shooting? Is it defense? Is it coaching? Like what? When we look back at this season, like again, outside of COVID, outside of Frank Martin getting it twice, like what went wrong? I'd ask you, what went wrong in this basketball season? What's the number one thing you look at? I mean, are the players just not as good as we thought they were? Are there mental issues? Again, is it a coaching issue? Like what went wrong in this season? Because again, COVID played a big part. There's no question, but there were other issues with this team. There's no question. There's no doubt in my mind there were other issues with this team. I think maybe leadership was a big problem because, again, yes, you had the COVID thing. And again, but at some point, though, somebody's got to step up and say, bro, we're still playing basketball. If we want to blame COVID and use that as a crutch the entire season, what's the point in us even showing up and playing? And I don't know that this team really had that leader to step up and kind of keep the guys together and keep everybody focused and motivated. And, and again, I'm just guessing because I'm not in the building. I'm not behind closed doors, but that's just kind of what it feels like. You know what I mean? So I would ask you guys the same thing. Like, what do you think? What went wrong outside of COVID? What do you think went wrong this season? What's the number one thing you put the struggles on for this basketball season? So, and I see a couple of answers. Jaden Harris is inconsistency. Baron Gaston says chemistry. Todd Smith says no heart. Adam Ritter says recruiting. Justin says lack of preparation and missing shots. Yeah. Yeah, definitely missing shots for sure. Elizabeth Ballard says, I think they seem to struggle to gel as a team. Leonard Matthews, no leadership. It's like they were just going through the motions all year. I definitely think leadership's an issue. I don't know. I mean, listen, I like guys like AJ Lawson or Jermaine Couisnard and Justin Minaya, but I don't look at them, I'm just assuming, I'm just guessing, but I don't look at them as like these big time leaders and guys that we can lean on and depend on and guys that are going to right the ship, when things are going wrong, guys that are going to put their foot down and say, we're not going to take this. We're not going to accept this. Heck, Frank Martin said it after the game last night, very selfish all the way around, defensively, offensively, everything else. So, and if you're being selfish and you have those type of guys on your roster, how can the leadership be good? How can the leadership be good? You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's luckily this season's about to end though. We've got the Kentucky game on Saturday, which, why we rescheduled that game, I have no idea. We got the Kentucky game and then the SEC tournament next week, which it's honestly insane to me that we have to play in the SEC tournament, but whatever. It is what it is. So somebody asked a question in here. Let's see. USC Sports, Chris, who do you think the women will play in basketball? Here it is. They're either playing Bama or Mizzou. I'd probably say probably Missouri. I don't know, though. That's a toss-up type of game. Real Hookers Outdoors says, how do you feel about the Mercer games? It should be a good series and a close 2 out of 3 games. Mercer has some pretty good hitters and a good pitcher in Garrett Delano. Seems like relief pitcher will hurt them. Yeah, so I'm actually doing my Mercer series preview on tomorrow's podcast. I'm really doing my deep dive on Mercer today, and I got my good buddy from 11.7 podcast, Ben Upton. I'll probably hit him up at some point today and ask him some questions about Mercer and their team and what they got to offer. But I expect it to be a really good series. I think Mercer is actually a quality ball club, and I think they'll, I think it's still one you expect, of course, if you're South Carolina to go at least win 2 out of 3. But do not take the Bears lightly. I think Mercer's a quality ball club for sure. So excited to dive into them a little bit later today. So Justin says, lack of preparation, missing shots, soft defense, no player stepping up to be a leader, and I say Frank not putting the pressure on the guys to gel. Let's see. Elizabeth Ballard, shooting, defense, 3-pointers that couldn't be made. They weren't fighting for rebounds. So basically everything. Everything went wrong. Jaden Harris. So basically we have 2 more games left. Yes. 2 more games left. Kyle Ballou, you have no true leader, watch games, no emotions at all, no talking, just going through the motions. I definitely think we got guys going through the motions. There's no question. Again, I don't understand how we're so good against Georgia. I really don't get it. That matchup must just be so ridiculously in our favor that I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I guess the matchup is just that good for us. But yeah, I mean, you got ran out the gym, as Frank Martin put it, against Arkansas. I'd probably expect the same thing to happen against Kentucky. And yeah, I don't know who you're going to play in the SEC tournament, but highly doubt South Carolina gets a win there, and the season will finally be over. So, yep, after next week, that should be the end of basketball, and we'll go from there and we'll adjust. Obviously, I will tell you guys this, just kind of thinking ahead. The content will will shift a little bit in regards to the podcast. I think we might go back, instead of doing 5 shows a week, to 2 shows a week. Just because with just baseball, I'm just not really sure that there's going to be enough content to do shows on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday as well. Again, we'll make adjustments, and I don't know yet. I mean, again, I love doing the daily podcasts, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. That's kind of something I've been thinking about, though, on my end. And then, of course, March 24th, we got spring ball starting up, spring football. So I know everybody's excited for that, and hopefully we get some good intel from Shane Beamer and the boys, and maybe we'll get some open practices. You never know, but yeah, so it should be a lot of fun. Let's see. Joseph said apparently you can get Longhorn Network on ESPN Plus. Really, I didn't know that. I did not know that, actually. I was told you couldn't, so that's interesting. Your local sports talk says maybe nobody wanted to stick up because they were disappointed in themselves. I got no idea. John gives a bunch of individuals. Lawson is and could be the leader, but everyone is all for themselves and not the team. Yeah, I don't know, man. I have no idea. I think leadership certainly was a huge issue this year because, again, as I've told you guys before, the biggest measure of a team, we can talk about this guy and these players and these coaches, but how does a team respond? How does a team respond when it gets punched in the mouth and it has to deal with some adversity and things don't go its way? And are there guys in the locker room and in the culture and in the fiber of the team that can step up and put their foot down and be those leaders and keep everybody together and keep everybody going towards the goal? And this team just folded like a cheap tent. There's no other way to put it. And you can say, oh, well, they've played some decent basketball against some really good teams and this and that. I mean, dude, they've lost. You know what I mean? They've lost, and they've gotten killed a lot of other times too. So it's just a bad bunch. It's a bad basketball team, and guys, I'll tell you this, and I hate to spoil it, but at the same time, I do want to talk about it because it's on my mind. But I'm probably going to write an article over the next couple of days or within the next week or so. I haven't decided whether I want to do it after the Kentucky game or after the SEC tournament when the season's completely over. But I got to say, if I was friends with Frank Martin or if I was advising Frank Martin, because here's the thing. We all know next season's going to be NCAA tournament or bust. No doubt. No question. Year 10. I know we've been saying that the past couple of years. And I know people say, oh, we say that every year. But I really think in year 10 with Bob Caslin, if you don't make the tournament next year, and especially if you completely miss the postseason, I think they'll go a different direction. If I'm advising Frank Martin or if I'm Frank Martin personally, I think the smartest move for him would be best for him to retire or him to just leave on his own and go elsewhere. Because, again, the expectations for next season, the minimum expectations for him to keep his job are going to be, you got to make the tournament. It's tournament or bust for Frank Martin's job next year. And I just think those expectations are unrealistic for his program. I really do. And you look at the team he's going to have coming back next year. And I mean, does anybody think this team's going to be better? It's going to be more talented? Like, if you're Frank Martin, why would you do that? Like, why would you come back next year knowing what the expectations are? And unfortunately, just kind of knowing in the back of your mind, like, that's probably unrealistic for me and my program and what we've done to this point. We've made the tournament one time in 10 years. Like, I don't know. I think if you're Frank Martin, you take the power from USC and you just leave. Like, really, I think you just leave. I think that would probably be the smartest move for Frank. I'm not saying like I want him to leave, but I'm just saying that, again, the minimum expectation next year, and I've talked with a bunch of you about it. I know Phil is one that's adamant about it, that, hey, if you don't make the tournament next year, I'll help Frank Martin pack his bags. Well, from what we've seen over the course of his career here, it's more likely than not that you're not going to make the postseason, that you're not going to make the tournament. So why would you wait for that day to come if you're Frank Martin? Why would you not either ride off in the sunset and retire or go take an opportunity elsewhere? Like, that maybe has lower expectations or just is a different program. I mean, I'm just saying, like, again, I don't want him to go, but if you really sit down and think about it, it's like, you feel like Frank Martin coming back next year is coming back to a no-win situation. Because, again, I just don't, being realistic, I don't see this team going to the tournament next year. Not even close. Like, I think it'll be just another typical Frank Martin squad, another typical Frank Martin bunch. And so, I mean, if I'm Frank Martin Or again, if I'm advising Frank Martin, or if I'm friends with him, I'm like, hey, Frank, like, why don't you think about stepping down now? You know what I mean? Like, why not just go out on your own terms? You know what I mean? Like, why wait for USC to lay the hammer? Why wait for South Carolina to fire you? You know, I mean, I don't know. That's me. If I was Frank Martin, that's what I'd do. I'd probably walk. I'd be honest with you. I'd probably walk. And he's had COVID twice, and it's just like, you know, here's the thing. He's going to be on the hot seat next year. He's going to be on the hot seat, bottom line. Why even enter into that situation if you're Frank Martin? Again, like I said, I don't want him to leave, but I'm thinking about it from his perspective. Like, why would you enter yourself into that situation? I don't know. I just, you know, again, I'm just talking here. I don't want him to go, but I mean, that's, you know, like I said, if I was advising him or if I was him, I'd be like, I'm just going to leave on my own terms. I mean, listen, it's not like he needs to come back and cash a check. Dude's made plenty of money. You know what I mean? Like, he's got it. So, Travis Royal, what's up, man? Let's see. Courtney Washington says, I'll eat crow, Chris. You're right. I'm leaning towards Frank being gone. I've seen D3 teams with better shooters. Travis Royal, no defensive cohesion. Just awful this year. We've given up way too many points and high field goal percentages. Young Gamer says, write an article, The Fall Off of USC Basketball. We've actually got one coming over the next couple of days. So, Real Hookers Outdoors, from watching the game last night, so sad seeing all the miscommunication on passes and plays. Saw many shots go up and go right back down without even touching the rim. Jacob Edwards, comparing this team to the Final Four team, the bigs couldn't defend, rebound, or score anything like Silver or Coates are. Also, the guards were subpar scoring and defensively. This team couldn't win any other way than outscoring, shooting the other squad. The defense was one of the worst ever under Frank. So, again, what you're basically saying, Jacob Edwards, is that this team just stinks all the way around. And here we go. HML Gaming, your local sports talk, asking who would be a good replacement. Who would replace Frank Martin? Guys, I don't know. I'm not paid to make those decisions. I'm not Ray Tanner. I'm not Bob Caslin. I'm not the search committee. But I'll be damned if there ain't somebody out there, you know, that would want a job in the SEC coaching basketball. You don't think so? And I mean, other programs have shown you don't have to get some big flashy name. I mean, it ain't my job to go find the next head coach. It's my job to analyze and see what's working and what's not. Obviously, right now, things aren't working. So, and again, I'm not saying fire Frank Martin. I want Frank to come back next year. But again, we all know what next year, you know, provides is that it's going to be put up or shut up. He's going to be on the hot seat. If you don't make the NCAA tournament, he's going to be gone. And again, if I was advising Frank or if I was Frank Martin myself, I wouldn't put myself in that situation. Because again, history has shown you're not going to make the tournament. You're just not. You know what I mean? Like, you're not. So, John Gibbs, it looks like our guys aren't even having fun. It's Frank's job to find a way to make the game for your team fun. You get your players to have fun. Then they start to care and we see results. That being said, players should always care and at least try. So there's fault all the way around. Yeah, I mean, you're literally on scholarship. You are privileged to be on scholarship at the University of South Carolina to play basketball. A coach shouldn't have to convince you to have fun or get you fired up or amped up or excited to play basketball. Like if that's an issue, if you need that to happen, you shouldn't be at this level. You should not be suiting up, bottom line. That's an issue, far beyond anything else. Let's see. Justin says $3.2 million a year, 22nd highest paid coach in the country. He will be fine. Also says, but I say I'd let him come back. It's to save faith, give him a full year. As far as replacing, I would love to steal Jeff or Kevin Ketz or pull an Auburn and throw the bank at Bruce Pearl. I would just say this. I want Frank to come back. I'm just saying that, like, if I was Frank, I wouldn't put myself in the situation of, I'm going to be on the hot seat. Oh, I'm going to have to make the tournament. Like, USC Sports is Chris. What is that picture of behind of? Are you talking about this guy right here? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, that's the hit. I know that the cocky is blocking, but that's the hit, DJ Swearinger. Yeah, which is for sale, by the way, my friends at Apex Art and Design. Be sure to check them out. They're selling that with a bunch of other pieces as well. We're actually going to do a giveaway with them starting Friday. We're going to do a giveaway for a free art piece. We're going to draw a random winner. We're also drawing a random winner for this, as you guys have seen before, it's a 2010 National Championship t-shirt with signatures from Ray Tanner, JBJ, Matt Price, all that good stuff. So we'll be giving that away today at 5 o'clock, and that is an exclusive Instagram giveaway. So, Carolina Rangers. Hey, Chris, is Frank Martin coach his last home game? Things are not looking good at USC. No, I'm going to guess and say no. Again, unless he wants to walk, unless he wants to go somewhere else, Frank Martin will be back next year. There's no question. I mean, again, he had COVID twice. This team had to deal with COVID. You know, listen, I'm not going to knock anybody who wants him fired. I'm really not. Like, whatever. You know what I mean? You're paid to produce, and it's year 9, and they just flat out haven't. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So, and unfortunately, guys, again, I'm at this point with Gamecocks basketball that I like Frank. I think he's a good basketball coach, and I support him. But you know what? If they literally announced right now at this very second, if they announced right now at this very second that Frank Martin was fired, I wouldn't bat an eye. Like, I feel just so indifferent on Gamecocks basketball, and I feel so apathetic that, you know, at least if that happened, there'd be some sense of buzz and excitement and something going on within the program, because the Gamecocks basketball program is dead. Let's just call it for what it is. It's dead. It's dead. Flat out dead. So, and again, I said this on the podcast this morning, guys, if you didn't hear, but I'll say it here too. The reason that I love you guys and the people that tune into this show every single day, tune into the podcast, tune into the Daily Crow, all that good stuff, is that, you know, this show is not for the faint of heart. I'm just going to call it like it is. I'm going to give my honest opinion and go from there. And you know, if it ruffles feathers, no pun intended, it is what it is. I love it because you guys ride with me every single step of the way. And you guys, I think, appreciate the honesty. It's not sunshine and rainbows here. We're not sugarcoating things. Just call it for what it is. So, you know, I truly appreciate that about the people that tune in and listen and whatever, you know. So, you know, I it doesn't make you a bad fan to say that this program is dead and it has issues and something needs to change. There needs to be some life injected into it. You know, I mean, listen, I truly, genuinely appreciate the fans like Kirk Hollingsworth and other fans that are going to show up no matter what. We could lose every game for the rest of history, and a guy like Kirk, who's a good buddy of mine, by the way, is going to show up. But also, on the other hand, like, you need a product. Like, especially when it comes to baseball and basketball. Football, you can get away with it because that moves the needle and people are passionate about football no matter what. But basketball and even baseball, you got to have a product, bro. You just have to. You just have to. So, and I mean, again, it's you can support a coach and his program and also be critical when that person's making millions of dollars to put out a product and they're not delivering. So, and again, I've made the point last night on social media, and I've said this many times during the season. I think if South Carolina actually gave a real damn about basketball, I think Frank Martin's probably already fired. I mean, I don't think he probably even made it to this year. If Carolina actually gave a damn about college basketball, it feels like to me right now, we really, really care about football, obviously. We love our baseball program. That is the gem of Carolina. Basketball is just kind of, it's just there. You know what I mean? Like, basketball is just there. Like, how much pride do we really take in our basketball program? You know, I just, and it's unfortunate. I hate to say that, but I'm just calling it like I said. I'm calling it like I see it. Like, that's just how I see this thing. Basketball is very, I mean, we had one nice little moment in the Final Four. And outside of that, I mean, it's very meh. Like, it's just, you know, I don't know. RJ Kelly, pressure makes diamonds. Indeed, my friend. Indeed. That is a fact. That is a fact. Let's see. John Gibbs not questioning that Frank wants to be here, but we need to get somebody who wants to be here. Some no-name could come in and change it all if their heart is garnet and black. He's out there. I just don't know who yet. USC Sports says, I love South Carolina sports to death, but it has taught me to not have expectations. That's fair. Travis Worrell says, here's the deal. We can criticize our team if we stay loyal, bottom line, been a diehard since I can remember what it's like family. We can cuss them, but if anybody else outside our family, then we will defend them. I do. Let's see. Real Hookers Outdoors says, yep, the chicken curse. Only the real ones know about the 1984 season against Navy. Still haunts me to this day. Courtney Washington, our AAU system is also the problem with our basketball program, if you say so. Elizabeth Ballard, it was exciting when I was a kid, fun during the Final Four, now just lackluster. Stuart K says, I want Frank back and I wanted Muschamp gone, but why is that? What's the difference in Frank Martin getting a pass while Will Muschamp didn't? That's a very good point. And again, I ask myself, am I being a hypocrite? Because, I've said many times, I'm not going to be the fire Frank Martin guy, especially this season because of COVID and this and that. But obviously I went on record the way I did about Will Muschamp. And you make a great point. I wanted Will Muschamp fired year 4. And this is year 9 of Martin. And COVID be damned, the season's gone the way it's gone. So I feel like, am I being a hypocrite? But I will just say this, but if you really want to have that uncomfortable conversation, you know what? I'll admit it. You're right. You're right. If I really was as diehard about basketball as I am about football, and that's not to say I don't love Carolina basketball, but we all know it's different, right? But if I was, I might be a little quicker to say fire Frank Martin. I might get a little more upset. I might be a little quicker to jump on that fire Frank Martin train or to lead that train. I mean, maybe. You make a really good point. Again, I don't think a lot of people want to have that conversation. I really don't. And I think there's differences in the scenarios for sure. Listen, I don't think Will Muschamp's a very good head football coach. Bottom line, he's shown that at Florida. He showed it at South Carolina. I think Frank Martin is a good basketball coach. You know what I mean? Like, definitely. I think he's a good basketball coach. But do we hold football to a higher standard or a different standard than basketball? I mean, that's a great point. That's a great point. That's a great point that, again, I think a lot of people don't want to have that conversation. And again, it all comes back to the Final Four. It really does. That was one of the best and worst things that ever happened to South Carolina because, it was obviously great for the school and the run was incredible. And again, some fans, that is the number one highlight of their USC fandom. It is. For some fans, that truly is. But it also was the worst thing because it is used as the crutch and it is used as an excuse. And it's the, if we had lost to Marquette game 1 that year, which I'm glad we didn't, but if we did, Martin wouldn't have a job right now. It would be different. That Final Four is the one thing we're all clinging to. And like I asked you guys a few weeks ago, I'd say this. Again, for the people that would come at me and say that I'm talking out the side of my neck and I shouldn't even be bringing up Frank Martin's name, that's fine. But I'd ask you this question. Give me some reasons why we should all feel optimistic or hopeful that things are headed in the right direction and that things are going to get better sooner rather than later under Frank Martin in this program. Because most people can't give me anything. Most people cannot give me anything in regards to why we should all feel good that things are getting better. You know what I mean? So let's see. Justin, I think it's different because for some dumb reason we have been programmed to think we ain't a basketball school. We have to change that. I want a Beamer for basketball. John Gibbs, CLA's as fire as any other stadium in the country at full capacity, raising hell when we are playing a top team. It's exciting and electric as you get at times. This is a major reason why the university needs to start holding basketball to high standard. It matters. I mean, yeah, listen, we hold ourselves to a high standard in football, and no offense, guys, we have no reason to. We've never won an SEC. We've never won a national title. I mean, I love Carolina football as much as the next person, but I will be very honest and blunt. Our football history is trash. It is. It is. It's not very good. And again, your past doesn't define you. I'm not saying we shouldn't have those high expectations, but why then shouldn't we have the high expectations in basketball as well? Like, I honestly, like, I don't get it. And I think that's the thing that keeps a guy like Martin around, is that, you know, in football, the mindset, the mentality was, oh, Muschamp, you better win. In basketball, the mentality is, oh, thank God we have a coach like Frank Martin. We're so lucky. We could never get anybody as good as you, Frank. There's a totally different mindset, bro. There's a totally different mindset. Totally different. Winning really isn't a top priority in basketball for us. That's how it comes off. That's how it comes off. Trip Roche, possible run in the SEC tournament. Hell no. What are you talking about? What are you smoking? No. No. Hey, if you want to make that bet, be my guest. But hell no. Justin, there's a reason why the window is bigger than the rear view. The Final Four was great, but it's behind us. Need something else to hang the hat on. Hey, it's a what have you done for me lately business. And since the Final Four, we ain't done shit. So, Justin, I doubt we make it out of the first round of the SEC tournament unless we play Georgia. Yeah. All we can do is keep our fingers crossed and hope to God we play Georgia at some point. Brent Brooks says it's a daft conversation, even attempt to compare Frank and Muschamp. I mean, I agree. I agree to an extent, but again, the point the person made earlier is very interesting. And again, I think it's a conversation that most people are not going to be very comfortable having, which is probably more reason we need to have it. I mean, Muschamp got flat out ran out of town. And again, I look at myself and I'm like, am I being hypocritical? Am I not holding Martin as accountable as I held Muschamp? And again, it's different because I don't think any of us think Muschamp was a very good head football coach. Frank Martin is a very good basketball coach. I agree with that. But it's year 9. It's year 9. Like, going into year 10. So, I don't know, man. Like I said, I'm not saying fire Frank Martin. I like Frank. I think he's a really good basketball coach, and you know, I want to see him come back next year, and I hope this time next year we're having a totally different conversation in regards to, you know, we're talking about this team making the tournament, what seed they are, and all that. But like I told you guys, if I was Frank Martin, or if I was advising Frank, and again, I'm going to write an article on this, or maybe talk about it on the podcast or whatever, because I want to expand on this. You know, if I was Frank or advising, I would strongly suggest he either retire or just leave on his own and take another position, because, you know, he's going to come into next season. He's going to be on the hot seat. It feels like a no-win situation, in my opinion. Feels like a no-win situation. And, you know, why would you leave it up to USC if you're Martin? And here's the thing. I don't care if you're wearing the garnet glasses, if you're just the optimistic Gamecock fan, whatever. You'd have to admit that there's nothing that tells you, at least historically, there's nothing that tells you from the Martin era that tells you next year we're just all of a sudden going to make the tournament. Nothing. Nothing. And if that's the minimum expectation, like I said, you're putting yourself in a situation I feel like it's a no-win situation if you're Frank. So, Corey Gardner, I was looking at the box score for a baseball game last night on ESPN app, and it had Fields listed as getting an AB last night. Is he still on the team, or is that an error on the box score? Yes, so Fields is back. I don't know what happened. I guess they had a conversation, and he's back. But, yeah, glad to see it. Glad to see it, because that's a really talented player. So, Brandon Fields, yes, he is on the team. Jacob Edwards, you have to compare talent. Excuse me. You have to compare talent pool and talent development. Muschamp has several top 25 classes to work with. He started well and fell off a cliff. Frank Martin has had to work with less over the years, still has had some trouble developing talent of late. Well, I mean, is it not Frank Martin's job to recruit? Like, I mean, if he's not getting good players, that's a whole other issue. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So, John Gibbs, people like to argue that if we keep firing coaches and starting over, it's the worst thing ever. Well, that's the mindset of having no standards or expectations. You have to have expectations. I will start over every 5 to 7 years until we find our coach rather than keep accepting mediocrity. And yeah, again, I mean, it's going into year 10 next year for Frank Martin. It's not like we're going into year 4. You know what I mean? So, and yeah, I mean, dude, with the amount of money coaches get paid, nobody's getting more than 5 years, bro. Like, you're either starting to win in year 4 and 5 or you're done. So, because that was one of the funniest things when Beamer got the job. There were fans that were trying to be smart asses on social media, like, oh, you're going to be the first one in year 4, year 5 to call for Beamer's head. And I'm like, well, I mean, if year 4, game 1, we lose to a North Carolina team with a true freshman quarterback and a first-year head coach, and yeah, I might be, to be honest with you. Like, I might. Yeah. I mean, bro, if you're not showing progress by year 4 or year 5, and hell, I'm going to be a lot more willing to give a guy like Beamer a lot more time because this is his first head coaching job. He wants to be here. Things like that play into it. But, I mean, you don't get much longer than 5 years, bro. If you're not winning, I mean, as much money as those guys make, it's a put up or shut up profession, So, hey, if you don't like it, you don't have to be a head coach. You don't have to be a coach. You don't have to be, you don't have to make that money and handle that pressure, but somebody will do it. So, again, with Martin, it's going into year 10, bro. Going into year 10. So, Carolina Rangers says, I'm glad USC baseball is on a winning streak. I as well. 7-0. Feels good. Anthony Belt, basketball is very disappointing. The defense is extremely bad. Frank Martin has always had a great defense, and that's what I feel, too much individual play. Yeah, I am. I just, I feel like it's like a broken record. We're saying the same things over and over again. It's going to be, I know for us, for the players, for the coaches, and they can say whatever they want, but they're going to be happy when this season's over too. They're going to be happy. It's been a long season for everybody, and I know they're looking forward to wrapping it up. So. Yeah. So again, guys, taking your questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3377. That is 843-790-3377. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Quick reminder, the podcast, episode 393, did drop this morning, breaking down everything from baseball, basketball, all that good stuff. Really, really good stuff. Really excited for the podcast that dropped today. So, let's see. Christopher Miller says, if you get down to it, baseball is the only major men's team that has a winning tradition and a standard of excellence. Spurrier spoiled us with football. Yeah, I mean, again, that's one of the reasons I love Carolina baseball so much. It is the one program on campus that has real expectations of winning. Bottom line, it just does. So it has a real standard and a real culture of excellence. And that's why I love it. That's why I love it, to be honest with you. So Anthony Belt, disappointed in lack of effort on defense. Looks bad when watching way too many wide open shots. Yeah, I mean, this team's just bad, bro. There's no way to put it. This team's just really bad. It's the same thing over and over and over again. John Gibbs, I really would like to see us become a motion team and shooting the basketball, recruit some damn shooters. I just don't understand. I don't understand how do you get to this level and you can't shoot? Like, that seems like a pretty important thing, does it not? How do you get to this level and you can't shoot the basketball? Can anybody answer that? Can anybody explain that? How? It's like being recruited to go play at South Carolina baseball and you can't throw. I mean, what? You can't throw? Seems like a pretty important part of the game. I don't know, man. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. One of the other questions is this: was that the last time we saw AJ Lawson at the CLA? I think it might be. I think it probably is. I think Trip Roche asked earlier, is AJ Lawson a first rounder? I don't think so. No, I don't think he's a first rounder. I mean, maybe I don't know for sure, but if I had to guess, no, I don't think he's a first rounder. Carolina Rangers, Chris, we are not seeing improvement in Frank Martin era. We need to go after a young basketball coach. Like I said, next season will be tournament or bust. And trust me, guys, trust me. Like I said, I don't want to be at any point want to be a fire coach guy. Like I want all of our coaches, all of our programs to have tons of success. And like I said, I do more podcasts like we did on Monday where I'm dancing on teams' graves. I'm talking shit to Clemson. I'm talking shit to Georgia. Like that's the type of shows I want to do. But when you have a situation where your head coach, your program's not getting it done, you're falling short of expectations consistently over and over and over, and you're starting to see disturbing trends, and you don't feel like you have real hope or real reasons why the program is going in a positive trajectory, kind of like basketball where it's at right now, I'll tell you guys, once next basketball season starts, and if and when we get to a point that we see that the season is going in a negative trajectory and we're going to miss the tournament again, I will be calling for Frank Martin to be gone. I will. I'll be calling for it because it'll be time. It will be time. Bottom line, it'll be time. And it's unfortunate, and I hate it because I think Frank has done good things here. And hey, he has raised the level of expectations himself at South Carolina when it comes to basketball. I really do. I think that Final Four run certainly raised the expectations. It raised the level. It raised the bar, if you will. And it's been a gift and a curse for him, I guess you could say. But it's a shame. It sucks. But at the same time, I don't have a ton of, I had somebody tell me one time, never have sympathy for someone who can buy their own jet. And Frank Martin would fall into that category. So, and again, I don't say that to be like heartless or feelingless or anything, because I understand, like, it doesn't matter how much money you have. If you're like sad, for example, if somebody's really sad, that is a real issue. But it's just the point I'm making in the sense, like, Frank Martin's going to be okay. Same as Will Muschamp. People wanted us to feel bad for Will Muschamp. It's like, guys, he's getting paid $13 million to walk. I think he'll be okay. This is the nature of the business. Like, they all understand it. It's a results-oriented business. And, but again, like I said, if I was advising Frank, if I was Frank Martin, I'm not even putting myself in that situation. I'm not coming back. I'm not doing it. You know what I mean? Like, I just, and I hate to say that because I like Frank and I want to see him back, but I'm not putting myself in that situation, man. I'm just not doing it. So, let's see. Courtney Washington, why does everyone think AJ Lawson's an NBA player? He doesn't shoot the three that well to be drafted. Well, Courtney, I mean, he's like third in the league, or he's top 3 in the league in scoring. So I think he's an NBA, is he like a starting 5 NBA guy? Hell, I don't know, but I think he's a next level guy. Joseph, we would be better off just talking about baseball. Well, Joseph, I'll tell you this. I refuse to be the guy that, you know what? I look at it this way. I started this damn thing. I started the season excited for basketball and covering every game and doing pregame shows and postgame shows and reactions and podcasts and all the content that comes with basketball. I started it. We're going to finish it. I'm going to finish it. I refuse to say, oh, let's just ignore basketball's happening. No, to hell with that. I'm going to continue to do it. Like I said, we probably only have 2 games left. We got the one Saturday at noon, and then we got probably an SEC tournament game sometime next week, and that'll probably be our last 2 games. So, hey, I appreciate the people that have stuck with me through it all, by the way, because, again, it was funny last night when I made the comment of, if you're someone that has taken your hard-earned money and you have bought tickets, and especially if you've like made the road trip also to go see this team play in person, bro, I genuinely have a ton of respect for you, and I tip my cap to you. And when I made that statement, that wasn't to like demean people who have done that. I'm laughing with you because I feel like a crazy person too, because I'm watching every minute, knowing what's going to happen. I'm watching every single minute right there with you. And hey, I had season tickets last year. Only reason I didn't get them this year was because of COVID. I couldn't get them. I didn't have my ticket plug this year. The only reason I've been going to every baseball game is because I've got a ticket plug for baseball. You guys really want to know. But, yeah. But I made that point and people thought, oh, question my loyalty. And, people thought I was like putting down people who would ever pay to go watch this team in person. Like, I think that's great. We need fans to go and support and continue to support the guys no matter what. But, where was I going with this? Yeah. Anyways. Yeah. No, again, people question my loyalty though. It's like, dude, like, no. I would argue we have continued to cover this basketball team, even when the majority of the fan base accepted this season was a complete wash and a throwaway weeks ago. The majority of everyone said, oh, it's a wash. We're not even watching anymore. So, again, I started it. I'm going to finish it. I refuse to just act like it's not happening. It's certainly been a roller coaster ride. And this team has made it, I'll say, this team's made it very tough to cover them because you go into each game, you're like, well, what are the keys to the game? Hell, I don't know. Make shots, play defense. Like, we don't even know what the team's good at, what they're bad at outside of everything. So, it's definitely been tough, but I appreciate you guys, sticking around through the entire season. So, yeah, Lindsay, I appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate that. But again, it'll be over soon. Like I said, this it'll mercifully come to an end. Like I said, you got Saturday at Kentucky, which why we rescheduled that game, I just have no clue. And then I think we'll probably play Tuesday of next week in the SEC tournament. So I don't know. We'll see. Justin Gant, we need to not follow basketball for a year or so. Changes will then be made. No reason to sit here and bash the team day in and day out. It's not all the players' fault. Sitting here bashing them isn't helping anything at all. How about we talk about the girls' basketball team and men's baseball, ladies' softball? There's so much content out there to talk about. That is great things happening at South Carolina. Nothing against you, Chris, but I'm sick of hearing negative all the time. Let's talk about. And I mean, yeah, Justin, I appreciate that. We've been talking about everything. You know what I mean? Like, trust me. I'm talking baseball constantly. We're putting out content in regards to women's basketball and even softball. We just had an article drop this morning. They've got a game today against Winthrop. But again, the basketball team played last night. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like they didn't play, and that's not a huge thing to talk about and cover. You know what I mean? And again, there's a lot of other sports doing great things, but football, basketball, and baseball, those are the big three. Those are the three that move the needle. Those are the three revenue generating sports. So, I mean, I'm going to talk about them. But of course, trust me, I could sit here and just take questions about baseball this entire show. But again, I just refuse. And again, I don't think people really bashing the players. Like, I don't feel like I've bashed the players. I mean, the season's been a train wreck and guys haven't played up to their potential and there's just been a complete disconnect, but I don't think I've bashed the players. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, I mean, I'm just, I started this thing. Like I said, I previewed the season. I covered that. We've covered it all season and I'm going to cover it to the damn end. So, it just is what it is, man. It's just a tough season and it's tough to get through the end of it, but we're going to do it. You know what I mean? I'm going to do it. I just refuse to be that guy. And somebody said on social media, like, oh, you have to do it. You have to cover it. It's your job. Well, I mean, I'm my own boss. So technically I don't have to talk about anything. If I wanted to, if I really wanted to, in my heart of hearts, I could just shut it down when it comes to basketball and be like, you know what? We're not even going to mention basketball anymore. But I don't want to do that. Like, I love Carolina basketball and I pride myself on the Spurs Up show being a well-rounded media outlet. I don't, there's some outlets out there that just cover football or they just cover baseball you can tell the biases at certain sports, or they cover football a certain way, but they kind of drift off when it goes to the other sports. For me, I want to be well-rounded. Like, I want to cover them all. I mean, obviously, I'm a baseball guy and we all love football, but like, I want to be as well-rounded as I possibly can. So again, going back to what Justin said, with that being said, I know it's tough, and it's tough because every storyline and narrative with Gamecock basketball is negative because when you're, what are they, 6-14? It's going to be, but I'm going to cover the game Saturday, and I'm going to cover the SEC tournament game the same damn way I've covered every single game throughout this season. You know, I'm going to go through to the end. You know what I mean? We're all riding this thing together. That's the way I look at it. We are all together in this thing. So, and hey, we'll continue to enjoy and celebrate the successes of Carolina baseball too while we're doing it. Of course, I'm covering baseball. You guys know. I'm not telling you anything you don't know already. But, yeah. So, John Gibbs, the true fans cover, watch, and talk about all our teams when they suck or they're on top. Can't quit when you're down. I'm going to love my Gamecocks no matter the condition. And again, I'll say this. I don't knock any fan that checked out a couple weeks ago when it comes to this season because, again, at South Carolina, football is going to get unconditional support. We could go 0-12 this year, and fans are going to watch every single game and go to every game. But when it comes to basketball and even baseball, you've got to have a product. You just flat out do. You can dislike that fact. You can hate that fact. But that's a fact. You've got to have a product. And especially this year when it was just so widely accepted that, oh, the season's a wash because of COVID. Doesn't even matter. Put an asterisk next to the year. You know, when you have that going too, I don't blame fans if they checked out or weren't watching as closely. Or because, again, you know, I think of the normal fan that, you know, maybe they're an alum, maybe they're not, doesn't really matter, but, you know, they've got kids, they got a wife, they got a job, they got this going on, they got that going on, they've got this obligation, that obligation, you know, they've got family, they can go travel, they can go that. Like, in this world in 2021, it's all an arms race for people's time, right? And their resources and their energy. So I don't blame the normal fan for not wanting to invest their time and energy in this basketball team. I don't. And again, that's why I said I genuinely respect the people that are still paying to go watch this team play in person. Like, I really do. That wasn't meant to be a slight. I'm actually dead ass serious. So I think those people should get like some freaking letter from the university or some gold star or something. Give them something. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So, Savannah Webster, will you start going live if the girls make the NCAA or SEC tournament? Well, the SEC tournament starts Friday at 6. So I will not go live for that one because I'll be at Founders Park for the baseball game. But, yeah, that's definitely something we could do. We could do like a little live pregame show for women's basketball, like for the tournament and stuff like that. I think that'd be good. John Gibbs, keep doing what you're doing, Chris. You're doing it the right way. Covered all when we're down or up. Show is great the way it is. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, like, you know, you got to ride with your team either way. And, you know, hey, if baseball were to have a terrible season, I'd be riding with them the same way. Hey, football last year, you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to, you know, you don't quit when it gets tough. You just keep it moving. You push through the adversity and you keep going. And like I said, with basketball, I mean, you know, I'm sure there's other outlets or other people that, you know, they'd say, oh, screw it. You know, I'm not going to do pregame, postgame shows anymore. I'm not going to do this, that. It's just not how I'm wired, man. It's just, you know what? We started it. Let's finish it. Let's finish the damn thing. And we'll go from there. So just got a text in. Love your show. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Brack Ryan, we've literally done that in football. Went every game on the 0-21 losing streak. Chris is spot on. Yeah. And again, Gamecock fans are the best fans in the country. And I think anybody who would demonize the South Carolina fan base in any way or talk down, it's just flat out wrong. I think it's stupid. I think it's the wrong move. That's why I'm always like, when people say, oh, the fans are to blame for XYZ, like anything, bro, no. South Carolina fans have paid their dues, more than paid their dues. 2 more questions. We'll get out of here. Savannah Webster, the girls, unfortunately, do not get the love they deserve. We sometimes have 3 people for their games with no losses, but 10+ turn out for a 2-win football team. That's a great point. Savannah, you make a good point. Justin Gant, last one. When you talk down about the team, it's going to get the players down. You know, most of all athletes from all programs are sitting here listening to us talk about them. If I was them, hell, I wouldn't take the court and just sit out knowing the fans are going to bash us after giving our best. I do believe these guys are giving 100% when they take the court every game. Well, Justin, I'd say this in closing. Nobody's forcing you to take a scholarship at the University of South Carolina. Nobody's forcing you to take a scholarship at any SEC school. When you play at this level, no matter the sport, baseball, basketball, football, you know what you sign up for. It's the biggest, baddest conference in the land. It has the most money. It has the most backing. It has the most fan support. It has the best facilities. So there's going to be the most criticism. There's going to be the most commentary. It's just part of the game. It's just part of the game. And it's not for everybody. So if these players, if there's certain guys that they don't want to play at this level and they don't want to deal with criticism and they don't want to deal with, they don't have to play at South Carolina. They don't. It's all love and we all support and we all, want the best for the team. But all you can do is call it like you see it. Do you think they'd say they've played well this year? No, absolutely not. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Like I said, check out the podcast drop this morning, episode 393. Got a great show coming tomorrow. Got a great interview. Matt Neesmith, former Gamecocks golfer. He'll be on there tomorrow, talking Mercer Series preview tomorrow as well. But again, check out the pod that dropped today, talking about last night's basketball game, the baseball game as well. We got a ton of great content on the way for you guys. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll do it again tomorrow, noon to 1, guys. Appreciate y'all.